That ring of yours, who gave it to you? It was a gift from years ago, back when I was a boy. I don't remember who gave it to me. Hello everyone and welcome to today's English reading practice. It's Tuesday, November the 7th, 2023, and I'm very excited to have you all here with me for this session. We'll keep on reading this fascinating story by Olly Richards called The Chest. My name is Niver Vargas and today we'll be reading the last chapter, Chapter 3, London. Esta es una nueva manera de lernen, aprender, aprendere,
languages, enquanto desfruta,
accents,
alphabet,
culturen,
sonidos, regole gramaticali.
quickly and easily. Alors,
Bon travail.
et bienvenue à Lingusta. Chapter 3, London. At Belfast Airport, Walter bought food for the trip. What he really needed was a rest. He was getting tired. Then he remembered there was just one more person to meet. Then his mission was complete. Walter boarded his flight shortly after he arrived in London. As usual, he got a taxi into the city. On the way, the taxi drove past the Tate Gallery. Walter could see how big the art museum was. He asked the driver, "Have you ever been inside the Tate?" "Yes, it's nice, but the art is very strange. It's very modern. Too many strange patterns and colors. I prefer traditional art." "I do as well," said Walter. "I have always preferred traditional things." He looked out of the window as the taxi drove on. Finally, Walter arrived in the center of London. He paid the driver and got out. Then he looked around. So many things to see. But he had to focus. His mission was almost complete. Walter didn't know exactly where the third person's house was. He stopped a man on the street and showed him the address. "Excuse me, how do I get here?" he asked. "Oh, I know that place," answered the man. "It's next to the boat rental shop." He showed Walter the way. "Thank you," Walter called and walked away. Walter decided to walk. It was healthy to walk. Also, major events were happening. It gave Walter time to consider things. At last, Walter came to the boat rental shop. Next to it, there was a small wooden house. "I hope someone's there this time," he thought. He remembered Lucy in Belfast. He didn't like to wait. He was impatient too. Walter rang the doorbell. A young man of about 30 opened it. He looked a bit like Walter, but without the beard. "Hello," said the man. "What can I do for you? Would you like to rent a boat? Maybe took a trip?" No," Walter answered. "My name is Walter," he continued. "I want to talk to you, sir." "No need to call me sir, please call me Alan." "Okay, Alan, I'd like to talk to you, please." "Certainly, Walter. Come in." Walter looked around. The house was very traditional and simple. Its owner seemed traditional and simple too. Alan wore simple clothes. He had traditional tastes. Everything was very clean and neat. "Well," Alan said, "you wanted to talk to me." Walter started speaking. Then he noticed something. Alan was wearing a ring. There was a number on the ring. Walter began to laugh. "What is it?" asked Alan with concern. I thought I was going to have more difficulty. "Excuse me," said Alan. "That ring of yours, who gave it to you?" "It was a gift from years ago, back when I was a boy. I don't remember who gave it to me. I think it used to be a necklace." Walter looked at the number. He had found all 3 numbers. His mission was complete. Almost. There were a few more things to do. "Alan," Walter began, "look at this." He showed Alan the photo of the chest. "This chest has a lock. We need 3 individual numbers to open it. And 3 separate people have those numbers. You are one of those people." Alan looked at him strangely. Then he asked, "And what's in the chest?" "I can't tell you that right now." "But why do I have one of the numbers?" "I can't tell you that either," answered Walter. He didn't want to say any more. Not yet. Walter gave Alan a letter and continued, "Please read this letter. The 2 other people have identical letters. The letters tell you what to do. I have to go now. Trust me, I'll see you soon." Walter turned and left. Alan was so surprised he didn't know what to do. So he opened the letter. It read, "Dear David, Lucy and Alan, thank you for reading my letter. As you know, I have helped you find a number. There are 2 other people with numbers. These individual numbers mean nothing. Together, these 3 numbers opened a chest in Scotland. The chest is at my home. I would like to invite you to come there. Please meet me there in 3 days. I have nothing else to write. I request that you do not try to contact me. Soon you will know who I am, but today is not that day. Have a nice trip. Regards, Walter." 3 days later, David, Lucy and Alan arrived in Edinburgh. They all went to the same address. As per the letter, Lucy and Alan were the first to arrive. Then came David. "Hi," David said. "Hello," said Lucy and Alan. All 3 people paused for a few seconds. At last, David asked, "What are we doing here?" "Have you read the letter?" said Lucy excitedly. "Yes," the man answered. "But I have no idea what this is about," added David. "Well, let's go in and find out," said Lucy. She rang the doorbell. Walter opened the door. He was dressed nicely. After all, this was a very special event. "Hello," he said calmly. Then he invited them in and said, "Thank you for coming." The house was neat and simple. It was very traditional. Walter offered them tea, but no one wanted any. They were too excited. Finally, Walter smiled and said, "Follow me." Walter brought Alan, Lucy, and David to a room. In the center, there was the chest. They ran to the chest. They all had their numbers. They were ready to open it. David started. Then Lucy put in her number. Finally, it was Alan's turn. When he put in his number, the lock made a noise. Alan pushed open the chest. The chest was completely full of stuff. On the top of the things, there was another letter. Alan laughed. "Ha! Another letter! I can't believe it." "Does anyone want to read it?" said Lucy. "I'll read it," said David. David took the letter from the chest. He read to the others. Hello, David, Lucy, and Ellen. Thank you so much for coming. I have brought you here for a special purpose. You all know that you were adopted. I checked that with the agency. David's hands were shaking. Is that true for you guys too? Yes, said Alan. Me too. Now read on, please. Lucy said. The three of you are siblings. I am your uncle. Your mother was my sister. She and your father died in an accident. It happened just after David was born. These are your parents' things. The necklaces are from them as well. After the terrible loss of your parents, I was your only family left. I tried to keep us as a traditional family, but I couldn't care for a baby and two young children alone. I had to put you up for adoption. I didn't want to put you in a facility, but I wanted to be sure you had loving parents. I wanted you to have the best lives possible, so I asked an adoption agency for help. Now that you are all adults, it is time. I wanted to tell you, you have more family than the ones you know and love. Look around. I invite you to meet your brothers, sisters, and your uncle, me. Love, Walter. David, Lucy, and Ellen looked at each other. Then they turned around. There was Walter, their uncle. He looked at them and smiled. I have so much to tell you, he said calmly. And that's it. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. What do you think of my reading? And what do you think of this story? Feel free to share your feedback. Bye for now. C'est fini. Merci.
Gracias.
Danke.
Shukran.
谢谢.
Evharisto.
And thanks for watching and listening to Lingosta.